it's just the four of us. We'll just get started. So I wasn't sure what I wanted to talk about today, so I was thinking about it all day long. But I thought it was, since we're wrapping up January, I thought it'd be a good time to kind of reflect on this month, because I know January is a big month for goal setting, and we're kind of excited about new year and doing things and staying on point and joining resets and all of the things. And I know the first week of January, we talked about goal setting and kind of where some strategies that we could use for meal prep and staying on track and all of that kind of stuff. And then the next week we talked about consistency and where we wanted to be, how consistent we wanted to be with our goals. And so now that we're at the end of the month, I kind of wanted to just reflect on how it's been going, and just kind of use this time as open talk. Maybe you could state what your goal was, your nutrition goal for the month, and if you struggled or if you're doing really well, what you're doing different, and just kind of open it up for everybody to chat about. So who wants to go first? Me? Why don't you guys go? I'll go first. Raquel's gonna talk. She unmuted. Go for it.
I'm just gonna stay unmuted.
Oh, okay. What's your goal for January? Nutrition
was to avoid treats.
Okay. Sweet treats or just
sweet treats?
Eating out or okay.
No, sweet treats. I do pretty good on eating out. Like I think for the holidays, which kind of started with Halloween. And then it just, it just kind of snowballed. But I didn't do, like, it was fine. But I think for January, I was trying to be more mindful of what treats I had, as far as like my sweet treats, my baked goods, my those kind of treats. And I feel that I did really well. Like when I wanted one and it was the hell yeah, I did it and I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't get stuck there. And so I think that's what January's kind of been for me, like nutrition wise. I've been more mindful in my food prep.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's been more consistent as far as getting my Fitme plates in. It wasn't as much of a struggle, I guess.
Did you have a specific strategy or action plan that you put into place to kind of make it a little bit easier?
I kept it simple.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept my grocery shopping just very basic, and I bought more stuff for my husband to grill.
We just ate, like my husband bought all this protein today. He bought pork chops, he bought pork ribs, chicken tenders, chicken legs. He grilled it all. And I was like, oh my God, we can't eat all this week. I put half of it in the freezer. But I think he's really excited to grill too. It's like, it's warming up here in New Mexico anyway. And it feels like spring's around the corner.
Yes.
Yeah. What about with your sweets? Your sweets, did you have a plan or a strategy around that?
I planned my treat days, which I'd never really done before. And it was a little harder. It made me really think about what, because so my coach had asked me to look at the month and see what I had planned ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And what I wanted those treats to be. And so we had gone out of town this past weekend. And so we went up to Ruidoso, and there's I mean, not on top of pizza and, having some drinks and stuff, um, they have cookies everywhere. And I knew that they were going to be there. So I kind of planned for it. I knew that Friday and Saturday were going to be, I was going to get a cookie, and I had it. It was intentional,
Yeah,
and they were delicious.
yeah,
And then I come home and I've got I've got my menu already ready. I've got my
yeah.
grocery order already ready. So
I think that's a big part of um, like returning, say you have a weekend out or whatever, is to be prepared when you come back and have a plan in place for when you return, whether it's picking up groceries the next day or even maybe cooking some stuff before you leave so that it's in the fridge when you get home. Another thing is maybe just having those fast, easy things in the freezer for when you get home, because the last thing you want to do when you get home from a trip is cook and think about grocery shopping and all of that. So I think having that plan for when you return is huge too. Hi, Shannon. I saw you
Yeah.
pop in. We're just real quick, we're talking about what our nutrition goals for January were. And the beginning of the month, we talked about goal setting for January and how consistent we wanted to be with those goals. And so we're just kind of doing a little reflection on how it went, if things were difficult or hard, where we struggled, or maybe where we felt like we did really well and had great, action steps or plans in place, strategies, and what those were. So feel free to jump in anytime.
Okay, that's fine.
Who's next? Natika.
Okay, I go next. So what I've been doing, is that the question?
What
I
was your
had a
goal
kid
for
here
Jan?
trying to freaking sign for me. And I'm like,
What
I
was
don't
your
know
goal
sign
for
language. Why are
January?
you signing? My goal for January, it was to cut out sugar,
Mhm.
do better with meal prep. So the meal prep has been going great. I've had a couple of times where I fell off on the sugar, but not nearly as much as I had done in December. So I think one weekend I had a cookie, not a whole cake, cupcakes. Like I don't have any of it in the house. So that was the first start, is to get it out of the house. But I've been in situations where I have had access to sweets. And so in some of those cases, I have indulged, in others, I have not. So that's not a complete win, but it's not a total loss. The food
Mhm.
prep, though, has been on one point for the all of January so far. And I don't like food prepping. So that's a win for me.
Are you still doing like all of the big spread for your family where they have a lot of different choices?
Yep, I
What did you
am.
call it? Food party?
Yeah, it was a food
Food
party.
party?
And it's funny because we've been grilling too, because the
Uh-huh.
weather, because it's getting lighter and it's getting a little bit warmer. And I'm in Maryland and it hasn't been awful. So my husband, if I prep the meats, he'll grill them for me.
Mhm.
So he's out grilling with his music on. I'm in here cooking the veggies with my music on. It kind of just flows, almost like a date. I guess we've been married so long that cooking is what we consider a date, because it felt like a date.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Fun. How fun. Do your kids get involved or no? They stay out of the way.
They hide,
They hide.
they hide. But my kids both can cook. So there is no conversation about what we're having for dinner. I'm
Mhm.
cooking what I'm going to cook. And if they don't like it, they are free to cook whatever they want.
That's a good plan.
I like that.
What about you, Nancy?
My goals were to include more vegetables, especially in fruits and fiber. And I did pretty well up until this week, figuring
Mhm.
out my changes to my meal planning app and eating less meat. And then this week, occasionally I get a subscription box of meals just for something different. And it wasn't all that unhealthy. It just wasn't as vegetable heavy as I was doing earlier. So had some bulgur wheat tonight, but the vegetable was primarily the lettuce and the lettuce wrap. And I don't think that counts as much. So
It counts.
oh, been all right.
I know you were trying new foods. How's that going?
Bulgur wheat is fine.
Is that the only new thing you've really tried?
Yeah, I don't know. We had some harissa spice this week. Can't remember what we did last week.
They're so cute.
Just increasing fiber. I was reading up on fiber today because I think I need to increase fiber in my diet. And I did a class I'm renewing my license. I'm a pharmacist, and so I have to renew my license and do continuing education. And I did one on diabetes. And the one thing I learned about fiber that I didn't know, because I'm also training for it's a march. It's a really long march. It's in March, and it's a marathon distance. And I've never done anything like that. And Coach Amy was telling me to limit my fiber. And all of my doctors have always told me to increase my fiber. So I was really curious as to why I'm limiting. I thought it was because I won't have bloat and I won't feel, my body's not working to get rid of all of that fiber. Well, that had nothing to do with it. It had to do with how your body absorbs carbs. Fiber actually keeps your body from absorbing the carbs. And when you're training for something big, you have to have those carbs available for energy. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. But yeah, I was doing some research on fiber to figure out why are they telling me these things? I wanted to get the real truth, but it was interesting. I was thinking about you because I knew you were experimenting with getting more fiber in.
Yep, lots of nuts, lots of vegetables, chia
Mhm.
seeds, berries. Doing pretty well. I
Yeah,
track a few days a month because I don't want to track my food all the time, but it's doing much better than I thought.
yeah. Hi, Jenna. I don't know that I know who you are. Are you new? You're new, right? You just started today? Yeah. Welcome to Fitme Food Call. You're muted. You're like, okay, yeah, I'm staying muted.
All
Well, it's nice to
right.
meet you.
Welcome, Jenna.
Just to give you a little idea of what we're talking about, we at the beginning of January, we were talking about goal
Pull me
setting.
down. Boom.
Goal setting and what our nutrition goals are for the month and how consistent we want it to be. So we're just doing kind of a reflection of how it's gone. I know you just joined, so you probably haven't set your goals yet. You'll do that on your Map Your Year call, which is pretty fun. And then you also will do a metabolism review, so you kind of get some nutrition goals there as well. Everybody's coming in late. Hi, Nicole. Where have you guys been?
Good evening. Sorry, I was putting the gremlins to
That's
bed.
okay. That's okay. Oh, there's Jenna again.
I fixed it.
Oh, good. Now we see you twice. Or I do. Did you have what are you hoping for as far as you just joined Fitme, and what are your nutrition goals as you go forward?
Well, so I've gained 20 pounds since July. I had an injury and I somehow just lost all of my healthy habits. All of them. Meal prep, working out, all of them gone. And so I just really need some help getting motivation to restart those and get back to my consistency.
Yeah. Were you
Maybe
doing all of that before? Were you pretty
I was.
consistent before?
I was. Just before I hurt myself, I had like hit my goal weight. I was feeling confident. I bought my very first crop top at 40. And yeah, then I gained 20 pounds. So
Yeah, injuries do that sometimes. Just start slow, baby steps. Don't get overwhelmed. You know what to do. I guess you were consistent with it before, so you know what it involves. But if it starts getting too complicated, just go back to basics and simplicity, and Fitme plates are probably the easiest thing. Taking out the recipe of it all. I know a lot of us are looking for, recipes. We see it in the Facebook group where people want, recipes to make things. And a lot of Fitme is just basics, making your carb, making your veggie, making your protein, flavoring it differently and putting it on a plate. I think the more simple that you can make it, the easier it's going to be to repeat each week and change it up a little bit too.
right. For me, it's making the time to do it. Right. Like I didn't get home from work until just now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
and I went in at 8 a.m. So like it's a long day.
Yeah. And playing around with it too. When I first started Fitme, I was working long hours too. I would come home 9 o'clock at night. I didn't want to food prep, so I had to start doing it on the weekend. And I tried different things. I tried doing food prep for the week. That didn't work. I tried doing meal prep and just doing different foods. And that didn't work because things would go bad. So I had to like break it down into smaller chunks. And that seemed to work a little bit better, but you'll find your groove.
Right. I mean, what I used to do is I would prep all of my food on Sunday, but then by the end of the week, like I'd get tired. I ended up throwing away so much food, and food's expensive, right?
Yeah.
Like food is so expensive. I can't make a bunch of food and throw it.
Eggs are so expensive right now. I'm bribing my brother for eggs. He has chickens.
Nice.
So, yeah. Anybody else want to talk about their nutrition goals for January? Nicole? We're doing a reflection on how January went and if we struggled at all or if we were successful with our nutrition goals that we talked about. You were there on the first call, I think.
I don't remember yesterday, so you might have a better memory than I do. January has gone really well. Like I similar to. I'm sorry, I'm sweeping up my living room floor as I'm listening to the call, so I'm not sure who was speaking previously, but I too gained some weight back over this past fall season after having about I would say a 35-pound weight loss earlier last year. So I had to get back on track, to your point, Marlena, with the basics of
Mhm.
cut out alcohol and sugar, just because I overindulged through the holiday season. But a lot of what I did, it wasn't hard, and I was able to um, stay on track without getting any setbacks because it was just basics of getting a Fit Me plate, drinking my water, don't drink my calories, that type of thing. So the basics has really gotten me on track. And I've had a really good January to the point where I'm going to hit my goal of, dry January with no sweets. And the scale has definitely been friendly to me, even through my monthly, which is typically my trigger point for all things sugar, fried, salty, greasy, alcohol. So I've been able to kind of maintain the momentum I started in the beginning of the month through that,
Mhm.
and which has all typically been my downfall.
Did you have a strategy that you used?
Meal prep. So I always do meal prep on Sunday. And then I do a mini prep on Wednesday because I had the same issue as the previous young lady in that I would get tired of what I made on Sunday by like Wednesday or Thursday. So I started to scale back how much I prepped on Sunday. And I would do a mini prep on Wednesday of something that cooks really quickly, like steak or seafood or something. So that way I would literally do at most a 30-minute meal prep, because it was something that cooked really quick, like sauteed green beans,
Mhm.
rice, or in a veggie, and like a fish, like shrimp or something like that, that I can cook really easily.
Mhm. And what about avoiding the treats and stuff? What was your strategy for that?
Um, I kind of just used the way I felt. I felt really good. I felt energized. I didn't have the aches and pains that come with inflammation of eating the things I shouldn't be eating.
Mhm.
So I kind of used that as the as the motivation to stay on point. Like, I don't want to
Mhm.
feel crappy. Like, because it's just, I already feel crappy because it's winter, it's cold. I don't want to go outside. And if I'm going to go to the gym, I don't want to negate all that work just for a minute of satisfaction with the brownie. Like, it just
Yeah.
doesn't pay off.
Yeah.
So if I got to do 100 wall balls, I'm going to make sure the wall balls count. I don't want
Yeah.
to do them again.
That's a good motivating factor right
Yeah,
there.
100 wall balls or a brownie. Which one?
Yeah. And just remembering that good feeling. I think it's super important to kind of always remember how good you feel when you're doing good and how you don't feel good when you're not doing so good, just
Yeah.
go back to that good feeling and just try and get back there through baby steps again,
Hmm.
if it's feeling really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just feeling super bloated coming out of the holiday, and I was like, all right, I got to do something's got to give.
Yeah. Shannon, did you have a goal this January, nutrition goal? I'm picking on everybody today. She's not gonna unmute. That's okay. Mine was just to kind of get back to meal prepping. Oh, there she goes. More protein. It's hard. Protein is hard. Is it like the amount of protein that's hard? Or finding types of protein to eat? Amount. Yeah. Are you new, Shannon, to Fitme? Brand new. Is this your first week? Yep, today. We're getting a lot of newbies this week. So protein can be hard. Finding different proteins that you like, of course, is going to be key to getting enough. Depending on how much you need and what your goals are. Of course, rule of thumb is palm size protein on your plate. If you need more than that, palm and a half works. Sometimes a protein shake right after you work out is a good way to get more protein in. What else? There's other foods, rice has some protein in it. Different foods have some protein in it. It is difficult. I don't know if you were given a target yet. You probably haven't. Once you do your metabolism review, they usually are pretty good about giving you a protein target. And then once you get your coach, I would say reach out to your coach and they can give you all kinds of ideas, snack ideas. I think that's a good way to get extra protein in is through mini Fitme plates for snacks rather than going for like just a solid, apple, add some protein to it, get some turkey or add some peanut butter, which is more of fat, but it's got a little bit in there too.
Cottage cheese and
Cottage
hard-boiled eggs
cheese,
are some of mine.
Greek yogurt. Yeah, you got all the conversations coming up. It's going to be exciting. I'm so glad you guys are here. But I was saying my goal for this month was food prep, which I struggled with over the holidays. And my strategy has been to track, which isn't something I love to do. I don't like tracking food, but that's the only way I know that I'm eating enough. And since I'm training for this March, I do have to eat a certain amount of food. And so by putting it into a tracker, it just gives me an idea of how much food I'm eating. So that's been my strategy, and it's making me prep, making me plan ahead, which is huge for me. That's the one way that I know that I can hit certain targets, like protein targets or calorie targets that I've been given by my coach, is to kind of plan ahead and put it into a tracker. And tracking's not for everybody, and it's not something that we typically do in Fitme unless you're going through, a weight loss season or something like that. But that's, and asking for help. I've been asking my husband to cook midweek because I just don't have the energy to do it, and he's more than happy to do it. So sometimes you have to enlist your family, ask them to help you out. Does anybody have anything else? Anything, Jenna or Shannon, as new Fitme clients that you guys have questions on? What was that?
But I don't know.
Oh, you're cutting out. I can't hear you. There you go.
I said I don't know what I don't know yet. Right.
Yeah.
Like I just signed up today, so I don't even really know the program yet.
You'll get there. Don't worry.
Keep
Once you
showing
have
up.
all of your calls, it's all gonna be so much more clear. Did you get a Fitme plate guide?
No, but I
Yeah.
saw it in the app.
Okay. So just to give you guys a general idea of what a Fitme plate is, and they should give you the Fitme plate guide. It's just, you imagine your plate, and it's kind of portion size rather than going like tracking food or weighing out food. You just go by portion. And so your protein is about the size of your palm. That's about the size of protein you want to put on your plate. Fill the other half of your plate with veggies, and then like a tennis ball size or a fist size for your carb. And it's usually carb from the ground. So carb sources like potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice. You could do your oats for breakfast, but you always want to include that carb in there as well. And then a healthy fat about the size of your thumb or 2 thumbs, depending on what your goals are. So that could be your oil, that could be cheese, it could be sour cream, it could be avocado, all the good healthy fats. And that's kind of how you build your plate. And if you can just wrap your mind around what a Fitme plate is, it makes things so much easier when you're trying to plan. Another tip is when you're grocery shopping, think of 3 proteins you want to buy, 3 veggies you want to buy, and then you could either do 3 carbs or just have 3 carb staples in your house all the time. And then just mix and match your plate. You could do like potatoes and broccoli and chicken, or you could do rice and pork chops and what I forget, a salad or something like that. So, rule of thumb is keep it to 3. Don't try and overcomplicate. 3 proteins, 3 veggies, and then just mix and match from there. A lot of times we get a lot of the fat that we need from either the oils that we cook in, or some of the meats have fat in them already, and you can count that as well. You don't always have to add the extra fat, but sometimes you want to add extra fat. It helps with your hormones. So you'll get all the information. And if you are overwhelmed, just reach out to your coach and let them know whatever questions you have. All right, guys. Anything else? No? Everybody have a good night. Thank you for coming
You
on,
too.
Jenna and Shannon. It's good to meet you guys.
Thanks, Marlena.
Have a great one.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.